Back to Good Morning Quad Cities at 11. We are taking all of your plant and garden questions through the WQ80 Facebook page right now. So, Andrew, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, we'll go back to Jim here. When is the best time to prune hydrangeas?
Well, the white hydrangeas we prune in the spring, just as they're starting to leaf out. We just basically take out dead wood. If they've gotten too tall, you can shorten the entire plant. They bloom on new wood. If you've got pinks and blues that have not been blooming well, try and prune them down to about 6 to 8 inches the third week in August, about a month from now. What that does, it forces out a lot of new growth at the ground. It's going to be buried in the snow for the winter, and the buds will survive much better if they're not exposed to the dry winter wind.
It's interesting that it's a different answer depending upon the color of the flower.
Right, right. The pinks and blues, we're right at the northern edge of their hardiness. So sometimes they can be a little problematic in blooming in the Quad Cities.
Wow. Okay. And Bill is wondering, after cutting down a tree, how long to wait to plant a new tree in the same spot?
No time at all, really. If you're having the stump ground out, the chips taken away and backfill with good black dirt, those roots that are left behind are going to be there for a long time, and you're going to call me about the mushrooms that are growing in your yard over the next several years. But we always say that you should probably put a new tree 6 feet off the center of where the original tree was.
Good advice there. Sue, how do you deadhead a Stella Lily?
Stella lilies, basically when the flowers are completely gone, you cut the flower stem down so it just doesn't show above the foliage. And if you found that your stellas are not continuing their bloom like they are supposed to, they're a rebloomer actually, they have been in the ground too long. You need to dig and divide and reset, and you can do that at any time.
And Margaret is asking, there's a vine that has little thorns and wraps itself around everything. What is it?
Okay, it is one of the woodbines. And yes, that little fella can be really nasty. The important thing is to find out where it's coming out of the ground and cut it off and paint those stumps or stubs that are left behind with brush and vine killer, and it will go down and kill the roots, won't damage any of the plants growing around it.
I think it's Marna has a young crimson oak tree that has leaves that are getting ate up at the top. What can she do for that?
Well, if it's young, you might be able to get a hand sprayer and get out there and spray as high as you can into the tree. Down the road, you might consider in the spring, as the tree is leafing out, using the tree and shrub protector that we recommend for the emerald ash borer. It works also on maple trees.
Mary says that she has a creeping vine in her flower bed. It's the second year, never before.
Okay.
I'm assuming she doesn't want it. What could she do?
Right. There again, it's one of those things where if you can segregate some of that vine with its leaves, you can spray. I would say this time of the year I'd be using poison ivy killer. That's triclopyr is the active ingredient. It doesn't volatilize and move out and damage other plant material like some of the 2,4-D products can. There again, it goes in through the leaves, goes down into the roots, and kills the plant from the bottom up, so you don't have to worry about it in the future.
From Stephanie, is my orchid done if the blooms all fall off? It's 2 years old.
Okay, no, your orchid's not done. I've got one sitting at home that's probably over 30 years old, and it has 2 bloom spikes on it right now. So what you want to do is, on that bloom spike that you have, assuming the plant is of a decent size, look on that stem. There are what we call bud scales, probably about 3 of them down the stem. You'll cut just about ½ an inch above the uppermost bud scale, and that bud will go ahead and produce another batch of flowers. However, if the plant needs to be repotted, do it now while there are no flowers on it.
And Jim is saying, for future reference, when would be the best time to prune a hydrangea?
But there again, spring on your whites, mid to late August on the colors, blue and pink.
And a quick question, what is Craig's favorite plant?
Oh, Bergmansia. We still have 5 of them at work. The thing is, I was at a friend's house. You can smell that thing 40 feet away at night. It's night fragrant. It is absolutely
love that.
fantastic. Blooms about that long. Looks like
Okay.
a big trumpet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
check
much,
that
Craig.
out.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and thank you for joining us and for the Facebook Live. And you can join the conversation every Wednesday. You can submit your questions right there and be a part of the conversation.